This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I'm going to share more so some thoughts from something that I saw pop up recently, and obviously, well, not obviously for you guys, but for me, going through and being creative with my writing, with writing my book, and the manuscript due pretty soon. The interesting thing for me is sort of still catching myself getting caught on I suppose the creative side of things, and I came across a video that was basically a quick story around Heath Ledger's role in his Batman performance as the Joker, which, by the way, was an absolute fantastic film. But the thing about it is that sometimes we go, it's the movies, it's like, yep. But a lot of these people, when stepping into roles, like not all of them, I don't know them personally, but they go through such a significant change. Like, it's an art form for them. Hey, like, you know, comedians are another example of that as well. But it's just like, you know, that's where the creative arts and all that sort of stuff comes into play. And it's just like, it's so fascinating. It's like we can sometimes just disregard it, but then spend, you know, a good chunk of our lives watching stories, reading stories, and really delving into the creative side of the world and what it has to offer. And it was interesting in at the end of the video, it was basically saying, it's like you have an opportunity to leave the world with, you know, beauty and creativity and an expression of art and self-expression. And in doing so, what we do when we do actually allow ourselves to leave let's use the word legacy, a legacy of artistic expression, of self-expression. When we do that, we also allow other people to do the same thing, right? So this is the thing. It's like, it goes back to the Splendid Torch conversation. It's like, by having a brighter fire doesn't necessarily dull other people's fire. And if we're trying to go out there and improve everyone else's fire but not improve our own, then we're not letting them have their own wins and have their own losses. We're not letting them move through and learn their own lessons, but we're also not letting them see how to do it themselves. Here's the other thing though, as long as we're doing that, we're not burning our own fire. And so we have this vast array of opportunities in our life to really lean into the things that are important to us and the things that are going to make significant change into the world when we're gone. And so, you know, spending time doing tasks that no longer actually, I suppose, point to our long-term betterment, into, you know, the short-term, masturbation, really. Like, you know, sometimes it is watching Survivor is the same as, you're just sitting there fucking yourself, really. And people will be like, oh man, it's a bit crass, or that's rude, how can you say that? I'm like, well, you're literally giving a part of your life, which is effectively almost, you can look at it as money, but you're giving a part of your life to a fabricated show. And I'm not picking on Survivor specifically or saying you should never watch TV. Just read through the lines and get from this what you want, but just have a think about the actual depth of the behavior rather than just operating on this like unconscious level all the time. And if you're listening to this podcast, my guess is that you actually are interested in knowing things on a deeper level and going deeper with your understanding. So really think about what is your behaviors, because if you're watching something or doing something that really doesn't have, you know, a long-term value to it, and unconsciously choosing to do that, right? Consciously choosing to do it is different. That's another podcast altogether. But unconsciously choosing to do it, you're also unconsciously choosing to not do all of the things that you dreamt about doing for your whole fucking life. And this people go, I go to bed and I can't stop thinking, and, you know, I start getting anxiety and start stressing. It's like, yeah, man, you're fucking just not living your dreams. Like, you're just not pursuing the things that are actually purposeful to you. Of course you can't fucking sleep, right? That's one. There's a whole other reasons why you're possibly not sleeping, but you start to see these sorts of things and the difficulties that we have in life, like, fuck, that if you really pull it apart and you're honest with yourself, you'll figure out why. You really will figure out why. And it's interesting stuff, because our ability to leave this world with not just the idea of a legacy. So for me, it's not just the idea of a legacy of Dave Nixon. It's not that. It's the impression of allowing other people to give them an example of somebody giving themselves permission to lean into the things that are important to them. And so over time, someone that listens to 20 of these episodes or 40 of these episodes or one of these episodes just goes, you know what, fuck it. And they go and start their own florist shop or whatever the fuck that they want to do, right? Or they go start a YouTube channel or whatever it is. Like that's what it is. The messages that you guys send me, the emails that you guys send me, the Instagram DMs that you guys send me, like I get it. Like it's so fucking visceral. And I'm like, hey dude, chick, whoever you are, like, fucking good on you. Hey, good on you for just listening for something, but they're not just listening, actually doing something about changing your perspective on the world, changing what you give the world. Like, you know, the chances of you being born at this time, which is one of the best times to ever be alive. Sure, we got some challenges coming up, you know, of course, and the news wants you to think it's worse than it is, but we're literally living in the good old days. It's like, act like it. Give back, right? Stop, you know, and maybe I'm talking to myself here, and if that's the case, then just, I don't know, get from it once again what you want, but stop being jaded. Stop watching everyone else and wishing you could do that and making up all the excuses of why you can't do the shit you want to fucking do. You can. It's just, it has actually the story in the way, and the story's bullshit. It's always been that way. It's like, that's called a memory, and even that is subjective and tainted with the way you see it. And I've said this before, if you have a memory that still holds a belief for you, and you created that memory when you were 7, you were in a space at 7 where you were in first and maybe possibly second person perspective, which means that your memory is that of a 7-year-old. Your 7-year-old you made a belief about a memory that 30 or 35-year-old you or 50-year-old you is holding around today. So when you're responding in the moment today as that fucking 7-year-old, you're not responding as you are who you are today. You're responding as a shameful 7-year-old, as a scared 7-year-old, as whatever it may be. And maybe it wasn't 7, maybe it was 13, maybe it was 4, maybe it was 17, maybe it was 20. It doesn't matter what it was. The thing is that it was a less mature version of you stopping you because they're scared, because the people that looked after that person, their caretakers or the people who are in that person's environment, were scared. We are people, you know, hurt people, and if we're hurt from those people, it's because they were hurt. End the fucking hurt and start giving the world parts of you that don't need to go to the grave. Start giving them, and maybe, hey, just quietly, maybe Survivor was somebody leaning into their creative side and doing exactly what I'm talking about, and that's cool. Like, whatever. I'm not picking on Survivor specifically. It's the idea for you, if you're doing that and then you're stressing about not living the life that you really fucking want to live, not going after the things that truly are important to you long term, then stop fucking yourself. Right? Like, it's time to move into the next stage. Hey, and this is the thing. I can't do that for you. Your fucking spouse can't do that for you. No one else can do that for you. If no one else can do it for you, it means no one else is holding you back. It's you. It's up to you. It's always been you. And it's time to unravel you. And on that note, team, I am out. If you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. If you haven't already, jump on Facebook, search Mood Prep Online. And by the end of this week, I will keep confirming we have our Mood Prep Weekender. We've got a 2-day seminar coming up in Canberra on, I believe it's March the 9th and 10th. And I'll put more details to that within the next week or two anyway. If you're interested in coming along, I'd love to have you there. Otherwise, that's it. I'm out. Until tomorrow. Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unbound.